Thank you, President Sansi. It's my honor today to coordinate this program and to help present the awards to our local civil servants. Just briefly, we're going to talk a little bit about how, particularly for those of you who are new, a little bit about the Rotary motto, service above self, and how this program, this particular awards presentation got started. So Rotary's official motto, service above self, traces back to the early days of the organization. In 1911, the second convention of the National Association of Rotary Clubs of America was held in Portland, Oregon. During a convention outing on the Columbia River, Ben Collins, president of the Rotary Club of Minneapolis, talked with Seattle Rotarian J.E. Pinkham about the proper way to organize a Rotary Club and offering the principle that his club had adopted, service, not self. Now, Pinkham invited Rotary founder Paul Harris, who was also on this boat trip, to join their conversation. Harris then asked Collins to address the convention, and the phrase service, not self, was met with great enthusiasm. At the 1950 Rotary International Convention in Detroit, service above self was formally approved as the official motto of Rotary, along with the motto, he profits most who serves best. In 1989, the Council on Legislation established service above self as the principal motto of Rotary because it best conveys the philosophy of unselfish service. The Rotary Club of Conway, we began presenting the Service Above Self Awards in 2011 at the suggestion of Rotarian Pat Freeman as a way to recognize and honor our local firefighters and law enforcement. The awards are presented in September on or around the anniversary of 9/11 in remembrance of the 9/11 terrorist attack and the 2,977 people who died that day, which included 411 emergency workers. The awards are bestowed on those individuals who go the extra mile in exemplifying the Rotary motto, service above self, and recipients are nominated by their respective commanders. So at this time, I'm very pleased to introduce representatives from each of the departments who will come up and tell you a little bit about their honorees, and we'll be doing the presentations of the award. So we're going to start with the Faulkner County Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Matt Rice could not be here today, so we have Chief Deputy Marple with us. If you would please come on up. Kelsey, you as well.
In February of this year, we added a young lady to our patrol division. Her enthusiasm and job and eagerness to learn is beyond words. Always smiling, greeting everyone with such kindness, this young lady, just 5 months on the job, and had not been to the academy yet, but just released from her field training officer, received a call no one ever wants to get. On June 6th, while working an evening shift, she was dispatched to Stacy Cove. The call, a 15-month-old child wasn't breathing. When the deputy arrived, the mother was running to the patrol car with the child in her arms, crying hysterically. The mother placed this child in the deputy's arms, and with quick response and without hesitation, this deputy used her training and skills and was able to get the child breathing again and save this baby's life. Deputy Kelsey Dale, we are very proud of you. Your compassion and commitment to the people of this community is amazing. And I would like to say to you, Deputy Dale, job well done.
Good afternoon. I want to take just a few minutes to thank the Rotary Club for doing this every year. It means a lot to the recipients, I know. And with all the things that are going on in our nation and some of the the things being said about law enforcement and that, it's great that we live in a community where things like that aren't happening here. We have, I think, the best community in the nation right here in Conway. And I very much appreciate the Rotary Club taking this time to recognize these people, to recognize our recipients. This year, the Conway Police Department recipient is Jimmy Bud Wesser. Bud Wesser works for the Criminal Investigation Division. Bud could not be here today. He is actually spending some time with his dad. His dad has got some serious health issues, and he was off this week, and they are actually attending their very first NFL football game together. So we hate that he couldn't be here, but I'm going to turn it over now. Bud's supervisor in the investigation division is Sergeant Mike Welsh. So I'm going to turn it over to Mike and let him tell you a little bit more about Bud.
A little bit more about the football game. Detective Wesser actually had planned to take his wife to the game because she had never been. And Bud actually picked a fight with her and said, you know what, I really need to take Dad. Dad may not be here next year for his first football game. So it's heartbroken. She was about not going. She allowed Bud to take that, and he's very proud to be there with his dad. I know they're gonna have a good time. I want to share some information about Detective Wesser here. It was provided to me by Lieutenant Berry. This is some of the reasons why he was given this award. Last year, in 2014, he was the lead investigator on the Walmart shooting, which we know was just a terrible event, and for him to go in there and take charge and investigate that, and the arrest was made very quickly, and we're very proud of him for that. He also assisted in the arrest of some people that were forging money from a local business in the amount of $70,000. So that's quite outstanding. He's also assisted other agencies and here with an 84-year-old victim. It's bad enough that people are victims of crime, but then when you pick up an 84-year-old person, and that's even worse. And he was able to help the other agency bring these people to justice. He worked an identity theft in which somebody targeted tornado victims. We've all impacted by that, either directly or indirectly, through family and friends. And somebody decided to take advantage of that situation, embezzled over $50,000 from the victims. And Detective Wesser was able to investigate that and make an arrest in that case. And again, we're very proud of him for that. Last year, at the time that these stats were made, he was at least had made 60 arrests. So, and I know that number grew over that time. So, he's an outstanding person. I've known him since the day he got hired here. I was kind of bragging a while ago. I tell him all the time, I said, you're doing a great job. We appreciate it. We love you. You know it's because you had a great training officer. So I tell him every time that he does something well, that's a direct reflection on me because we used to ride together. He gives me a hard time about that also. His stats are great. We can't ask any more from him. He works very hard every day. He's probably the most professionally dressed person in our office. He showed up the first day wearing a tie, long sleeve shirt. I mean, he looked like a businessman, and everybody went, "Don't give the chief any ideas." We like our polos. We like dressing down, but even on Casual Friday, it is a shirt and tie. He always looks professional. He is a brute of a man. He is strong. He was on the SWAT team. He's a very tactical person, a very officer safety oriented person. And when he expressed interest in wanting to be a detective, and I learned that he was going to become a detective, I thought, I wonder how that's going to work out. And I can tell you, he as good of a police officer as he was, a uniformed officer, and an excellent SWAT team member, I think that in the position he is, Bud Wester has found his calling. Because 60 arrests, and I don't want anybody to get afraid that we have all those criminals running around there. If you mess up, Detective Wester's going to get you. I mean, that's it, plain and simple. If nobody else will, he will. He always goes the extra mile. He comes in early. He stays late. He talks to the other divisions. He makes sure that we maintain a very good relationship throughout the entire police department. I couldn't be any more proud of Detective Wester. He's like a younger brother to me, and I accept this honor on his behalf. Thank you very much.
And last but certainly not least, we have the Conway Fire Department. And before Chief Winter comes up, I just want to take a minute on behalf of the club. You may all recall that last year our Service Above Self recipient from the Conway Fire Department was Engineer Wayne Hartness. And just on behalf of the club, we want to express our condolences to you and to your team. I know not only did you lose a comrade, that you lost a friend. So, but at this time, we would like to have Chief Mike Winter come up and present our honoree, Captain John Skinner.
Thank you, John, and again, to echo what Chief Gary said, for you to take the time and the effort to put forth to recognize public servants, I don't think any of the three that are being honored today does the job for recognition. That's not what the badge is put on every day for. It's to make a difference in the community, through service. Oftentimes I say that being a firefighter is not so much what you do as much as it is who you are. The badge and the uniform just exemplifies who you are individually, whether you're on duty or off duty. Captain Skinner joined the fire department 18 years ago. He rose through the ranks not by being selfish, not by setting his own personal goal, but through his actions within the department. To try and explain the number of committees within the department that he sets on, we're not going to take the time. It was just brought up that last week we lost Engineer Wayne Hartness. Been with the department for 23 years. Selfishly, Captain Skinner volunteered to not necessarily attend the funeral, but to assist with the preparations beforehand and during the funeral. Even though Captain Skinner and Engineer Hartness spent a lot of time together, especially over the last year and a half. But Captain Skinner joined the department 18 years ago. Today he stands in front of you as a captain. Now, I get to the station every morning about 6:30, and I know when Captain Skinner's off because his vehicle's not there when I get there. He's always there before 6:30 in the morning. Barely, I don't mind. I mean, you want talking about an award, maybe we ought to be giving an award to the spouses. But anyway, we're very proud, very honored to have Captain Skinner on the department. He's one of our commanders of our Special Operations Rescue Team. He serves as the team leader of our dive rescue team and numerous other capacities that he serves in. 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a holiday, 2 o'clock in the morning, he's there to serve you individually as a community. And I'm honored that he's y'all's selection for this year, Captain John Skinner.
Thank you, Chief Winter. At this time, I would just open up the floor if anyone has any questions or comments they'd like to make for a few minutes before we move on. That's what this time is for. So if there's anything you would like to say or ask a question of any of our honorees, now's your chance. And I know you're not a shy club, so. I see it in you, Joe. Go ahead and stand up.
Well, I mean, I was just gonna ask AJ if he's ever told anybody he was my cousin. I heard him brag about that.
I can probably answer that for you because I don't know that I would claim you. So. Anyone else?
I guess I'll ask a question. This is for any of our folks that were honored today. Of course, my 3 kids, they all want to grow up and do what you all do. But sometimes we lose that, get distracted by other things. So my question is, at what point did you decide you wanted to give your life to this? How old were you? Was it an aha moment, or was it just, here I am?
Aaron Reeves, he wants to start. Deputy? Captain Skinner?
Actually, I didn't grow a lot of kids. You see, they grow up wanting to be a fireman when they get older. When I was a child, I always wanted to play baseball. Worked hard at it. I ended up having an opportunity to play minor league baseball. Cincinnati Reds for a little while. As a pitcher, when your shoulder goes, you go. So I was at that point. Fortunately, I was young enough to where I still had options. So when I was 21, almost 22, I took the fire department test. I had both of my brothers actually in law enforcement. I've got one brother with the Conway Police Department, one with federal law enforcement. So I kind of had that idea of public service, and plus inside of me thought, with baseball, it was kind of for me. It was my dream as a child and everything. So not that it was selfish, but it was what I wanted. So when that was gone, I felt an overwhelming sensation to do something for someone else. And seeing my brothers in law enforcement, and they were in public service, the opportunity with the fire department came, and I took that, and I never looked back. It's been the greatest thing I've ever done. So, thank you.
Captain, a follow-up question, and I kind of feel like Senator Stanley Russ. I wish he was here. He got 25 more questions. So if you were to have a red and blue baseball game, would you pitch for that? Would you sacrifice the shoulder to be?
I think I can do it. I've rested it for years, and I've played some softball. And actually, the talk has come out to come up with some kind of baseball thing. So I tried. I don't know how long it go, but I'm sure I wouldn't mind leaving it out there for a little while.
Marvel's Wildcat, there's the airport.
Joe, I'd just like to make a comment. I'm just thankful I live in a town like Conway, and we have the public service and law enforcement and then the fire department. I tell you, we're just certainly blessed.
I second that. Thank you, Free. Anyone else? Well, to our honorees and to Chief Deputy Markle, Chief Gary, Chief Winter, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for all you do. I know you put your lives on the line every single day, and without a second thought in doing that. And I want you to know, this club wants you to know how very much we appreciate all you do, and are so very grateful to have a chance to honor you in this way. So thank you again for being here. Just know that we are truly grateful for all that you do. Okay. Sancy?
I want to thank everyone for being here today. I would ask that the honorees come back up at the end and we'll get a picture with all of you together. Do remember there's no noon meeting next week. We'll be meeting out at Lloyd's Farm at 6 o'clock for some fish. And Lloyd said, please don't be late. You can be there early, but don't get there late because he doesn't like to serve cold fish. So 6 o'clock. Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, you're not through.
Yes.
I I am now to honoring you all, because on Friday, my 89th